Academic writing can be defined either very broadly or very narrowly. In the broadest definition, of course, academic writing can simply refer to any writing that you do in the course of your education. So this could include a final report for your biology class, or poetry for your poetry class, or even the scribbled hand scratches you call notes that you take in classes. And academic writing has two specific criteria or really important things about it. You probably think that the first one is style, that it needs to be really boring, really objective, use huge words you don't even understand, and really long sentences, but that's not true. In the first case, that's the second. Style is the second most important thing, and in the second place, that's an inaccurate description of what academic writing should be like, although I admit there is a lot of really boring, difficult to read academic writing out there. And it's not all bad. It's not always bad, but you can do better. The first aspect is actually the quality of thought that goes into your paper. That means you're asking the right questions. When you make your claims, you spell them out clearly, and they're logical and reasonable, and that you support them well with good evidence, and you design good warrants, effective warrants for them. And I'll make a complete separate video about making good arguments for you with some examples and everything. As for the style, it doesn't always have to be ultra objective. That's the narrow definition though. So make sure if your professor is asking for that narrow definition, very formal, very objective, none of your opinion in it, no cute drawings or no introductions with little stories about little Bobby or whatever, then you don't match the assignment. That's an important skill for you as a student, to learn how to write to the assignment, figure out what your professor is asking for, and write to that. And different professors will want different things. On the other hand, if you have a little bit more leeway with your style, sometimes it's very appropriate to add in some stories, some personal opinion even, but be careful, because when you break that rule and when you begin to make it subjective, when you start to include yourself as part of the paper, you need to do a good job. Don't just simply say, I think that the chromosomal homogeny found in, whatever is completely legitimate. Because who cares what you think unless you're an expert, okay? So the appeal to authority, if you are an authority on it, then maybe that's okay. But if you're not, your opinion doesn't matter. Or unless you can say you think that such and such is the case because you can back it up with good explanation, appeal to reason. Okay, these are different kinds of warrants. Or anyway, don't just give your opinion without having your opinion be a valid type of support. Okay, that's never a good idea. But when you're writing for social change, for example, if you make it so boring and dense that it's hard to read, then if your audience is broader than just your physics professor, then you need to make it appeal to that audience. So those are some of the choices. Finally, let me just point out that the goal of academic writing is to contribute something useful to the conversation about whatever topic you have to be writing about. So what this means is you don't have to come up necessarily with all the answers. Okay, think of John Swales. He identified these 3 steps. He says all academic writing does one or more of these 3 steps. You can identify the research that's been out there, do a literature review and say, look, here's a good collection of great materials that you should look up if you want to become literate and well informed on this topic. Or you can identify a gap. Say, look, we need more research in this area. We need to ask this question. Or maybe former research was done improperly and we need to redo it with better standards. Okay? Identify a need for more research, for more information. And third, you can fill that gap. You can provide some of the answers, whether it's done by secondary research, whether you're going out and reading the journals and finding new information, new discoveries, new studies and such, and compiling those and bringing that all together and presenting it, to a new audience, or whether you're doing some of your own primary research, your own surveys or or whatever the case may be. And depending on your subject, of course, you'll just need to follow the rules for gathering research, valid research for those things. So that, in a nutshell, is academic writing. And you have the chance this semester to contribute something like that. So choose something you care about and follow the research process. I'll make another video about that as well. And good luck.